system in the whole range of everything.
So how many people are wired into this system, or rather wireless into this system?
Well, we have a total of 60, which would be like mobile, handheld types of radios. And then, of course, all our patrol cars have mobile radios in them as well. So there's basically two different types of radios.
So all these 60 people are within the Department of Public Safety?
That's correct. Affiliated with the police department, correct.
So if I'm correct, everyone under your staff, it's using the ultra high frequency system.
That's correct.
When working in campus.
That's correct.
To communicate.
Mm-hmm.
What about the state system? Are there any plans to expand to that?
No, not at this time. And again, the state system, similar to the county system, it gives you a kind of a wider range of coverage, but you don't get as good of coverage inside of buildings. And again, we have a number of buildings here on campus that are so fortified that with the state and with the county system, our officers being inside the buildings with their handheld radios wouldn't get as good a coverage.
And in the case of an emergency, does the Public Safety Department have a backup radio system in case the ultra-high frequency system were to fail?
Well, we would have some backup in that we do have some county radios at this time that we use as a backup, as well as we wouldn't really expect that much of a failure because our radio system is on backup generator and the like, so it would have to be almost a complete system failure for it to go down. But there are some redundant systems that are available to us.
Are there any problem spots that maybe you can warn us about, maybe places where the reception for the public safety radios is extremely bad?
Yes, there's a few places. We did, again, as we've been looking for some alternatives to our current system, the county and the state, we've had some radio tests that have been done over the past month and a half, and those tests have identified some locations that are some problem locations for us. And we'd have to look at some other types of bidirectional antennas within those areas. Specifically, we have some issues in the law school, again, because the law school is so well built and it is so well fortified that it's hard to get transmission and reception out of those locations. There's a couple of other locations in some of the residence halls on lower levels that it's difficult for the officers to transmit and receive.
48 minutes past 10 a.m. You're listening to FIU's News Talk and Roundtable Discussion. Joining us today in the studio is Director of FIU Public Safety, Mr. Bill King, discussing some of the measures the university is taking to ensure security, as well as speaking to us a little bit about the department he heads. And I wanted to, maybe if you can explain to us a little bit about what exactly is the InformaCast. I'm saying that correct.
And you started off the program talking about some of the things that we've done since Virginia Tech. And I'd just like to mention that Chancellor Mark Rosenberg, who, of course, was a provost here at FIU, took a very important stance about checking on all the state universities as to our preparedness. And right after Virginia Tech, we did a lot of conference calls. He was very interested in making sure that everyone is as well prepared as we possibly could be. He was looking at steps to kind of see if there was some funding through the state legislature to provide some of the things that we need. And then shortly after that, Governor Christ put together a campus safety task force, and they went around the state asking chiefs of police and as well as a number of other stakeholders as to how prepared we were, what could we do to make sure that our campuses are safer, not only for the state system but for local colleges and universities as well. The three things that they kind of centered on in the task force as well as early after Virginia Tech was for communication and notification systems, and I'll speak about that in a second as far as InformaCast. The second item that you talked about was staffing, as far as police and police training, and were we adequately staffed. And then the third thing had to do with psychological and counseling and psychological services. So those are three areas that they really centered on to talk about campus safety. Now back to Informacast. Informacast was something that we had in place, or we had started here at FIU, as a way of notifying the campus community, students, faculty, and staff in case of an emergency. I think we here at FIU are much further ahead than a good number of colleges and universities across the country, just because of our preparedness for hurricanes. We have a very good, extensive emergency management plan for hurricanes, and we kind of take the approach that any kind of a disaster, we take an all hazards approach. So if we could handle a hurricane, any kind of a incident that would occur, we would handle it basically in the same way because of our planning. But back to your original question about Informacast. Informacast is a system that we can provide recorded or taped messages through the IP, through the university phone system, as far as a notification system for students, faculty, staff, using the phones as well as a speaker system. We have installed some speakers in certain areas here at University Park, as well as Biscayne Bay, to put out messages.
So the message on the phone would be pre-recorded and just randomly play, or?
It could be pre-recorded, or it could be a live notification through all the phones. And there is a strong movement toward more phones and call boxes throughout the university. I'm getting information that we're probably going to be looking at the installation of upward of a couple of hundred more phones and call boxes in classrooms as well. So that same type of message could be put out to the phones, as well as the capability of those phones being used to call in information as well.
And is there any timetable on this in the near future?
I'm optimistic that that's going to happen within the next several months. But the Informacast is already in place. We had that in place even before Virginia Tech, because we were looking at using that as a information or notification system in case of hurricanes.
I'm guessing the loudspeakers are placed on top of buildings or adjacent to the top of the building?
Well, the two speakers that we have right now, well, actually there's three speakers we're looking at. One is near Green Library. The other two are in the residence halls locations in the open area outside of the residence halls.
Talk to us a little bit about North Campus. Is there any specific measure of security that the public safety is taking over there?
Okay. Of course, we do have officers assigned to Biscayne Bay, and the procedures that we use here at University Park are the very same procedures that we would use at Biscayne Bay. The Informacast is in place there as well. As you may know, Biscayne Bay is in an evacuation zone, so if in fact there was a hurricane, our students that are housed up there would be transported here to University Park. If there was a incident, any type of emergency incident up there outside a hurricane, our police officers that are there would take the same measures that they take here at University Park.
Are there any loudspeakers on buildings?
Yes, we do have at this time one speaker located at Biscayne Bay that would provide that Informacast type of information. But what we really are doing, we're looking at a number of other systems that could